Mike Fribosi. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
And me, that guy right there that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. Rod Elms Jr., I'm back. Mike's back. We got all kinds of analysis to go through with some big stakes action tomorrow for a very good card at Woodbine Mohawk Park, featuring not only the Good Times, which has a big favorite in it, so we're not even going to talk about that one, but we're going to talk about the Canadian Pacing Derby and the Maple Leaf Trot for older trotters. And we've also got Meadowlands action starting back tomorrow night. How about that, Mike?
That's good. Meadowlands is really good before they stopped racing. I mean, they have big fields, big handle. I'm ready for them to come back.
Yeah, and they're going to have a big handle tomorrow, I believe, as well. Even though the big races are all at Mohawk tomorrow, I think Meadowlands is going to do very, very well, jumping back in at the right time, in my opinion, anyways. But aside from that, we've also got a pick 4 to talk about for tomorrow afternoon at Running Aces, which is a very, very good sequence. So if you're playing tomorrow afternoon, which you should be because it's Kentucky Derby Day, make sure you play Running Aces, play this pick 4. This could be another pool shot. I've been known to hit a couple of pool shots on Saturday afternoon at Running Aces, so I think you should probably follow along tonight. What do you say, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you've been good there. I'm trying to make the playoffs in Running Aces Fantasy Harness, so league, one more date to go tomorrow. Tough card tomorrow, though. Really tough.
I do want to say to Pat Beeler, stop tagging me in your stupid posts. Thanks.
Who's that? Who's that?
He just keeps tagging me in a bunch of posts, so nobody wants to see that crap. But anyways, back to the show. We're going to jump right in because we're not staying on all night. We've got other things to do, and I still got a shower. Race number 5 at Woodbine Mohawk Park is the Maple Leaf Trot for $560,000 Canadian. With a field of 11, the 10 and 11 start from the second tier. Got to remember that 10 starts from the second tier at Mohawk now. But you've got the best older trotters in the world in this race here, including morning line favorite, the 9 Gimpanzee, Manchego, Lindy the Great, Atlanta. I mean, just world champions all over the place. Start us off, Mike. Mohawk is your thing. Where are you going, and what do you like? I mean, Gimpanzee with the 9 holds a tough spot.
Yeah, and I think that should improve the price. I like that McNair's on him. I think that he has the best form. He got beat last time, but he lost to just a better trip, a better drive at Tioga, and the front end was decent that day, and everything just kind of was against him there. So prior to that, he's been vicious. This is a tough spot though. These are tougher horses than he has been facing, and the graduate, handbook maturity, things like that. Those are all straight 4-year-olds. These are the better horses. But Manchego's a little off form. Atlanta busted last time. It's just I think that he bounces back. I think the 9-hole helps him. I do like Crystal Fashion though in this race a little bit, and I've always liked this horse. This horse never owes me $1 really. I mean, just wins in big races. That last race was this horse's best race in quite a long time. Now you get McClure up here. You get a horse that's rounding back into form. You get a horse that likes the big track, and I feel like if he gets away well, he's going to be live late, and he's probably 30-1 in this race because he's going to get ignored. Manchego's hard to trust for me. I don't know what to do with her. She was great earlier this season, but the last 2 have been, a little suspect now. She's racing against the When Doves Cries, the Plunge Blue Chips of the world, who are very good and
I'm not going to use Marion Marauder. He usually does show up when he goes back up to Canada, which is a good thing. I might throw him. Broke the world record at Tioga last time. I mean, this horse is just unreal right now. Tons of speed. I think Jody fires, and he fires hard, which puts Manchego in a tough spot to come first over. I just don't think she can do it first over against these types. Taking nothing away from her. I mean, she's a great mare.
What does Atlanta do? That's the whole key to the race.
I think Atlanta tucks early and then follows Manchego. I think that's probably how the race sets up. She comes second over. But a horse that I really, really like is Lindy the Great. He's been right there every week against the best, these horses, every single week. Now you get J-Mac to drive, and I just think this horse is coming into a big spot and can finish no matter where he's at on the racetrack. So I like his chances. J-Mac is going to have him up close early and try to most likely look for that two-hole trip behind Guardian Angel Az. And so I'm going to use that one. He's going to be a decent price. And Gimpanzee, very, very obvious. So, this is a race you kind of have to go a little bit deep in and hope that one of the favorites get beat. But my price play in the race is Lindy the Great, and Guardian Angel Az just not to have on your ticket. So you skip a few races. By the way, they've got all kinds of stakes races, gold races and everything else for the sire stakes. And even the Simcoe's a pretty...
Simcoe's. There's some short fields tomorrow, though, which...
Yeah, I mean, you have that, but in that Simcoe, Warley Vital, what a mile last time, 149. 3-year-old colt. Just coming into his own, it really looks like. I mean, his last two starts, he really popped up and showed some git.
Yeah, has to beat Belmont Hanover, obviously.
Yeah, but, nothing really to talk about there. The ninth race, however, the Canadian Pacing Derby, and this one goes for $540,000 Canadian dollars, which right now translates to about $56 US. Another field of 11 here. Yeah. Has 4 horses in this race. He's got a lot of older pacers, top-notch older pacers. Tony Alagna with a couple entries, Tani Camilleri with Dancing Lou, and Better's Wish. I mean, you can't fault anything he's been doing recently. Do you go chalky, or do you try to look for a price in this race?
I'm a little chalky horses. I really do. But he has to face Century Pharaoh, who comes back home. This is, his home track, and that Dan Patch was very good. But that Sam McKee was an extremely good race. Go watch back that replay.
Mm-hmm.
10 hole that day, came flying for third, 47 4 mile. I mean, was very easily gets any sort of trip. He's right there. So I give him a big look in the race, and I mean,
and he's back home.
Back home, yeah, that's huge for him. The price look for me, I think, and again, I'm back in the 9 hole here, but Filibuster Hanover, I mean, just won 2 of the last 3. If you think back to 2018 and 17, this horse was very good for quite a while, was beating everything. He's in form right now. He's going to be a massive price, and he's got Walk. I mean, Walk could definitely get this horse in gear early, get him a spot, and then who knows? He could shake loose late, similar to what he did on August 8th when he sat on the rail the whole way around and then kicked 26 and 1 to win at a huge price. This is a tougher race, but I just feel like if you're looking for a price to maybe crack the exacta, he's the one I want in here, and he's easily 30 to 1, maybe longer.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a shot, and if you look at that third quarter at Pocono last time, 25 and 4 is what he went that third quarter. I mean, he was just scatting down the backside there and left Dancing Lou out. But he has missed a couple weeks. I don't think that's going to hurt him. The post is what's going to hurt him. It's a really tough spot from out there. But I agree. Better's Wish is very, very good right now. And he's going to be extremely tough. Century Pharaoh, very obvious. After the win at the Dan Patch, he raced extremely well there. He goes back home. must play. Dancing Lou, always a must play after an easy race last time. And it's the second time McNair's driven this horse, so I expect that horse to be pretty good, especially from an inside post. You know he's going to be up close throughout. A lot of other horses you could use in the race, but I think those are the main contenders for me. American History, he's another horse. When he gets into a race like this, he likes to show up. So I'm going to use him because I won't let him beat me. He's too good of a horse. He's very hit or miss, but he's very talented. He's got a ton of speed, and he's got a great post 5. So I think you have to.
I needed him so bad last week, and he just did not take one step forward.
Yeah, he does that occasionally.
He can bounce back, but he just was terrible. Yeah, really bad.
He does that occasionally, and we've seen him do it several times, and he bounces right back a lot of times. So I'm going to use him. I always use him in these big races because he shows up. So that's kind of how I see that race playing out. Tough race, though. I mean, these are the best pacers on earth, and you can't beat that field right there. So throw a little bit of money in that race, and I think you can get paid if you play it correctly. It's going to be some decent exotics, I think, if Bettor's Wish gets beat anyways. But we're moving on to the Meadowlands for tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the early pick 4. They don't have a guarantee on it tomorrow, but it'll be over 50,000 like it always is. 15% takeout, 50-cent minimum wager here, and this is the first leg is numbers of 10,000 last 5 starts. Now keep in mind Meadowlands hasn't raced for about you might see a couple horses with lines at different tracks, but for the most part these are Meadowlands horses that race there week in, week out. Mike, start us off here in this front leg.
Yeah, 4 deepest numbers of 10,000 last 5 on the pace, and a lot of these horses are racing at Philly and Pocono and coming in from there, so it's not an easy spot. The one I think is a use, another daily copy. Raced last time at Philly and numbers of 14,000. Prior to that was racing at upper levels. It just struggled, but it's getting checks. Likes it here, and I think that if you look at that mile on July 18th here, kicked 26 and 1 and a 48 and 4 mile against better horses, so that's what makes me use him. The 6 Tin Roof Raider. This is a huge driver change here. You're getting Dexter done. You're getting the big track for this horse. And, he's a little bit up against it class-wise, but I like the connections, and that's why I'm using that one. The 7 Peace Out Posse's a former horse that was racing up at Woodbine. Now it's going for Jen Bongiorno. And, had the 8-hole at Philly and just missed. Kicked 27 and 3 there at a huge price. That's extremely difficult to win from the 8-hole there. This horse does like the big track. Was decent at Woodbine. Was racing at upper levels, so I used that one. And then the 8, Take It to the Face, which kind of reminds me of you a little, Rod.
Yeah.
He was racing numbers of 25,000 last 5 at Yonkers. That's a really tough, group there. And then last time at Freehold, raced at the top level, and he beat less than 6 lengths. I think that the big track will help this one also, and you're going to get a big price. That was 160.
I like that you didn't use De Los Cielos Deo, the 3.
I'm just done with him.
He's very tough to like and to dislike because he puts in these big miles, and then he'll put in a clunker, or 2 clunkers, or 3 clunkers. But he is prone to make a break, so you got to kind of watch that a little bit. But he's coming back to the Meadowlands. I think that's really the move with him. He likes this racetrack. Dave Miller, he's not one that's going to be extremely aggressive with a horse like this. I think he more likely sits early and then just kind of eases him up toward the leaders. We'll see what he does there, but I think he's a play in this sequence. The one, another daily copy, very obvious, I think, from the rail, moving back to the Meadowlands. Shows 48 in a piece at the Meadowlands earlier this summer, so he's a definite play. One that got a tightener last time and keeps his main driver, or gets his main driver back, I should say, is the 4 Decision Day. He is a little bit cheaper, but he's pacing good miles. He can kick home in 27 seconds every single week. He can kick home in 25 and change if he's off the pace. But we know what he is. He can go in 49 in a piece, and if he's close enough, I think he's got a shot at a decent price. And then the other one I use is the 7 Peace Out Posse for the Bongiornos. Very obvious, I think, at this level, and makes sense to be right there again off of that big race at Chester last time, or Harris Philly last time. But tough race. It really is a tough race, and good race to start the sequence. The 7th race, which is the second leg at the Meadowlands tomorrow night. Now there's a 2 or 25,000 a lifetime on the pace. You got a full field of 10 here. And for me, I thought this race was pretty much cut and dry. A horse I really last time, Jordan Stratton stays on, so I think that's a big key. He goes back to the big track. He qualified here back in July, and he qualified really well in 153 and change. Kicked home in 27 and change. Jordan just kind of sat there behind some good horses. Dancing Lou, I think we just talked about that one a little bit. Yeah, he was in that qualifier that happened to go in 151 and change. So I like the spot. I like the rail. I like moving back to the big track. And I like that Jordan stays on him. So I'm going to use him as a big price play here. And then the only other one I'm going to use is the 10 Billy Lincoln. Timmy Tetrick. 10 hole sucks, but the horse has a ton of speed and looks like is better than these horses, dropping down from now there's a 4 over at Pocono. So pretty comparable class-wise, but this horse just makes sense, and Timmy's going to fire right out of the gate. So expect the horse to be up close, if not on the lead throughout. 1 and 10 for me.
I agree on the 10. I really don't like the 1. I mean, just, they qualified at Woodbine, they qualified at Meadowlands, they qualified at Philly, then break behind the horse that has gate issues. So I'm against the 1, but agree on the 10. I think he's pretty obvious. Also the 9 here, though, Rocket Rocco. 1, broke the maiden at Philly and 52 and 4 as a favorite there, coming off the bench. And they thought fit enough to ship the Hoosier off that race, and the horse was 262 to 1, but still got a check. So in a 51 and 2 mile, now I realize 51 and 2 at Hoosier is not the same thing as 51 and 2 here, but that's still a really good mile second off the bench, and I think this horse is improving. And you're definitely not going to get 200 to 1 here. You're probably going to get more like 2 to 1, but I think 9 and 10 are the 2 in that race.
Yeah, I was kind of against the 9 a little bit just because shipping back and forth week after week, I mean, that takes a toll, so I'm really against that horse there.
Okay.
But moving on to leg number 3 is a non-winners of 7,000 last 5 starts on the pace. Another full field of 10 here. Mike, are you going chalk or are you taking some prices?
I'm deep in this race. I'm 4 deep here. The 2 in Rock we trust. 2 straight wins. 1 at Meadowlands, then back that up with a really nice win at Pocono from a decent post, but wire to wire there in 51 and 2. That was quick. He's shown that he can win here and gets an inside draw. Haney's back on. That equals a price no matter what, so I use that one. The 3 like Clockwork. This horse was really good at 2, and last year made money, but has changed hands. And that race last time at Philly was not bad for numbers at 10,000. This is a drop. This horse has been racing numbers 17, numbers at 14,000 at Yonkers, Philly. I think the big track helps, and I like the post here. I think he's another one that could be a price in the race, so I use that one. The 6, Solid as a Rock. 3rd back now, off 2 pretty much impossible spots for Johnson. And, that race at Yonkers on March 2nd was solid. That was numbers of 10,000 last 5. Did win 4 times last year. And I just feel like that this horse needs a wake up for sure, but, this isn't a terrible spot here. And then the 8, Whitaker, a horse that really likes this racetrack. Has some tough lines, but you get Dexter Dunn back, you get the big track back. He likes the Meadowlands. Look 3 and 4 back. Those lines fit very well here. So 2, 3, 6, 8 there.
Little bit different for me. You're leaving out Incredible Shark, who loves the Meadowlands, has won in 49 and change at the Meadowlands, and you get Timmy back on to drive. This one is a must play for me. Even after that.
That last race though was pretty bad. Was that the slop that beat him?
I think so. He probably choked down, most likely.
Okay. There's an excuse, fine, but that was pretty bad.
yeah, I mean, there's obviously an excuse when you come home in 37 seconds. So uh, I think he's a must use. The two in Rock We Trust, I thought about using him. I just can't for obvious reasons. The one, Century Churchill.
He's not that bad.
Century Churchill makes sense. He's got early speed. He's going to try to look for a two-hole trip. He never really leaves the rail, but he can get a two-hole trip in this race. So I think you got to play him. Like I said, the 4 Incredible Shark. And one you didn't talk about a lot, but makes sense here. The 6 Solid as a Rock. Coming back from these half-mile tracks, now this is a horse that has pretty much only raced at these smaller tracks. Stretching out for the first time, I think there's a reason they're stretching out. His racing style suits the Meadowlands. Bartlett jumps on to drive for the second time in a row. I think this horse is sitting on a big race and could surprise a lot of people after going some pretty decent miles against tough horses over at Yonkers. And makes sense here for me just to have him on the ticket, period. And that's all I'm using in that race. So the fourth leg, now winners of 14,000 last 5. You got another full field of 10. You got a first time or second timer in North America here from the 10 hole. Do you use him, Mike, or are you skipping out?
I skipped that one. I'm 3 deep. I used the 4 Freedom Warrior. Really nice race. Now we're 6 off the bench for Bongiorno at Yonkers. That was 49 and 3 there. That was at Pocono. That's a big mile there. Hard to tell how it will be at this racetrack, but if he's that fast there, he can be very easily that fast here. I'll use that one. The 6, Anna Afreet, one of the horses that just won for numbers of 14,000 last 5 at Philly, and was racing as high as numbers of 20,000 recently. He's a U16 out of 31 wins lifetime, so nothing wrong with that. And then you get Sears. Then he ate a Flame Hanover, was in the Graduate, was in the Houghton. Really no chance in either one of those races. And then, roughed it at Pocono, 2 back, took some time off, and then had the 8-hole at Yonkers. So that's a pitch there. This is the easiest race this horse has had for quite a while, so we'll try that one, 268 or 468.
Kind of on the same page here. I'm a little bit deeper than you are. I'm using the 1. Not going to try to pronounce the name. Doesn't matter. Jordan Stratton stays on a drive. Shane Tritton trains. Had the 8-hole at Yonkers last time. Tossed that race completely out. And now there's a 25,000. Drops back down. Beat now there's a 17.5. 2 back from the rail in a pretty good mile. Went in 151 at Pocono. Inside post. You're going to get fair value on this horse, so I like him quite a bit here. New Zealand shipper. The 4 Freedom Warrior.
I think it's Lisbon night to get a N.
Huh?
I think it's Lisbon night to get to get a N.
No, you don't say the N.
Means.
You don't say the N.
Oh, you don't say the N?
The N is New Zealand bred.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's supposed to be.
No. Because they don't... The horse was from New Zealand.
I'm just messing with you. I mean, come on. You know that's what I'm doing.
It's the number 1 horse, okay? The 4 Freedom Warrior, very, very obvious after a massive win at Pocono last time, on and off track. Now, with that in mind, Pocono's off track is a lot different than everybody else's off track. It's very fast. So, the mile was incredible anyways. I mean, you have to throw that horse on your ticket. And the 6, like you mentioned, Sears jumps on. I like that angle off a big win over at Chester on a sloppy track. Chased in that mile, but raced very, very well. And with Sears jumping on, you get a good post. You're going to get the right trip. Decent spot. I think you got to use him. And then the 8 of Flame Hanover. You talked about this one a little bit. He's got early speed if he wants to use it, and we definitely know he's fast enough. He's got more class than most in here, so I think he is one that you have to have on your ticket no matter what. Yeah, I mean, he could draw the 10 hole in a 14-horse field. I think you got to have him. So And the fact that Dave Miller jumps back on, and he was third in 149 with this horse at the Meadowlands in the Graduate. So
That's better selection.
yeah, I mean, this horse just makes a ton of sense in this race. At 9-2 morning line, you're not getting anywhere near that. He's probably going to be like 6-5. So that's where I'm at there. 1, 4, 6, and 8. That's all we got for Meadowlands. That's for tomorrow night.
So my ticket's 1, 6, 7, 8 with 9, 10 with 2, 3, 6, 8 with 4, 6, 8. It's 48.
Good for you.
You don't know what yours is. That's why you don't want
I
to
didn't
say
write it down. I just knew what I had. But tomorrow afternoon, before the Kentucky Derby, Running Aces early pick 4 starts in race number 1. Actually, their late pick 4 will start before the Kentucky Derby, and their entire card will be done before the Kentucky Derby.
They start at what? That's 1 o'clock. They start at what? 2 o'clock Central, yeah.
2 o'clock Eastern.
Eastern. That's what I mean. 2 o'clock Eastern.
Yes. But they got 8 betting races, I should say, for tomorrow. Very, very good betting card for Derby Day. I mean, it's very tough. It really is. So you have to be playing this card. If you like prices, this is your card. This would be a very good card for me to be in playoff contention in the fantasy league, because these are the ones I excel at. But regardless of that, started with race number 1, the early pick 4. Again, races 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the nominators at $1,250 last 4 starts. And field of 7 here. I want to know where you're at in this race, Mike, because I like a price. The chalks are very, very vulnerable here.
I'm going to use one, but not the other. We talked a little earlier about 2 Mickey trips, so I'll use them. It's that terrible post last couple races. Inside now. Typically flashes speed when he's good. I mean, he's faced some better ones. Giggle Monster, Bet Together, Redonkuloso. So he's a use. And, this is as low as, he's been. He kind of woke up a little last time. Was 3rd for numbers of 1,000 last 4. And, another one that draws well. I'll use the 3 reluctantly, Dependleberry, who's 9 to 5 morning line, coming off a 6 scratch, and a race on August 15th where he probably should have finished and he didn't. And then he was in numbers of 850 last 4, 2 back, and was the favorite, and somehow found a way to lose that race also. And he's 3 for his last 34 races. I mean, can he win? I guess. I don't know. I'm not real crazy about him. And then the 6, it's no problem, man. Another one that's been racing at this level and doesn't really like to win much, but he does flash some speed, and I think that he could get away. He was out a long way last time and really had no chance, so we'll use that one also. 1, 2, 3, 6.
Vulnerable favorites, and I'm actually going against them with only 2 horses. The 1, 2 Mickey Trip draws inside. He's got enough speed. This horse is only good when he's on the lead or in the pocket. That's the only time he's ever any good. So this is a level where he's supposed to be good. Last week he just tucked in the back, kind of had an easy race. He did the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you. He's at the right class level. 9 to 1 morning line, you're not getting it. I can guarantee you're not.
6 though, I think.
Yeah, you'll get decent somewhere mid-range, like Mike said, 5 or 6 to 1. But he's a must-use here with the big post shift alone. And also using the 2 Keystone Charles. Braxton drove this horse very conservatively 2 back. And then last week came up with some cover. Just raced okay, but he was in against Mark Magic and Contemporary Legend, who would just demolish this field. Either one of those 2 horses would demolish this field. So I think you got to have him on your ticket. He makes sense. Inside post, going to use, and he's going to be close to route. Could just follow 2 Mickey Trip all the way around there. So I'm 1-2 there. Race number 2 is a now-winners of 2,500 last 4 starts. Also eligible now-winners of 500 per start this year. You got a field of 7, and another pretty tough race here for a shorter field.
Yeah, 4 deep for me again. The 3 Amit tank I think is a use, dropping out of those higher claimers. Gets a much better post. Bertrand's been hot most of the meet, and he's been winning with prices. The only problem with this horse is he's 0 for 22 this year. He was 2 for 38 last year. He just doesn't win. This is probably his best chance, I would think, for quite a long time. So use that one. You talked about Marked Magic. That horse is in this race. That's a step up, and these are tougher horses, but that was a nice race last time. And he gets McGee back in the bike. I would expect he'll be aggressive again. The 6 Buzz Light took another break, and now he's back. When he's in, he's usually pretty good. He crushed numbers of 850. He was just supposed to win. He was 1-9 in that race, and they bet him right back when he jumped up to numbers of 2,000. And he raced really well there. He just kind of lost to a better trip. So I'll use that one. And the 7 Vicious Aloysius. I like the driver change here. I feel like this horse can have speed and could get brave depending on how things go up front. So I was 2 or 3, 5, 6, 7.
We are a bit different here. The 3 Amit tank. I was kind of. And fun fact, you mentioned 2 wins last year. They were the first 2 starts at Running Aces last year. That was the only 2 races he won, 2 in a row, and that was it. But he makes sense in this race. I mean, he's supposed to be right there. He's not supposed to be losing to these types of horses, but he finds ways to get beat. And by the way, this horse is best on the lead. The 4 Mark 1027 moves back up to Aces, gets a class drop, makes a ton of sense, and he should be right there like he is every time he's at a level similar to this. Mark Magic, another one coming off that win, steps up, but fits at this level. And if Bobcat drives him like he did last week, I may help him in this race. And that's all I'm going in this race. I'm going 3, 4, and 5.
No Buzz Light for you. Interesting.
No, he's been off, 35 days. So that, for me, is the key. I'm not playing him off a 35-day layoff. So if he beats me, he beats me. That's fine. Race number 3 is non-winners 1250 in the last 4 starts. That are non-winners of 15,000 this year. Another field of 7. And this is a race that I thought was the toughest of the whole sequence. You got horses like Blue Star Maverick, who's supposed to be right there, but he's just not real good right now. But, he makes a ton of sense. Contemporary Legend was in that Mark Magic race last week and raced very well. He just doesn't win a lot. Murder Mystery, who got driven horribly last time, makes a ton of sense. Fox Valley Hoss on a class drop. I think he's a must-use. So I couldn't really separate any of these horses. They can kind of be hit or miss with all of them. So I just hit the all button here.
Yeah, I'm just 3 deep. But you didn't mention the one who's getting a massive class drop here.
Yeah.
And, there's no P.H. Kenny here, no Bunker Hill Bill here. Gets an inside draw, and I would expect a lot more aggression, I think, from that one. I agree on the 2, Fox Valley Hoss, another one that's dropping and should be better against this level. And then the 7, Blue Star Maverick, who's just impossible to leave off. And he won 5 this year, 7 last year. So when he's good enough to beat these.
But he's not real good.
There's much better field than these. So 1, 2, 7.
All right, good enough for me. In race number 4, which starts the jackpot pick 5, there's over 3,000 carried over, I want to say. And if Darren is watching, he could probably give us the number there.
I think it's more than 3, isn't it?
I know it was 3 on Tuesday, so it's probably up around 4 now. But this is a 3-year-old filly Minnesota sire race with a field of 6, and this looks like the easiest race of the sequence. If you're like
Easiest
me,
race of the day.
yeah, if you're like me and you're going to key off of It's Pacific Time, who's just been extremely good. I mean, she's unreal this year. She got beat last time down at What Cheer at the fair, but comes back up to Aces and has just been crushing these 3-year-old fillies every time she races against them. 10 starts this year, over 32,000 in the bank, a mark of 153 and 4, and if she goes anywhere near 153 and 4, she's winning by at least 5 lengths.
Yeah, the thing you look at here is the horses that that only have a chance. The two really has never beaten her and doesn't really like to win, and was had a perfect trip last time behind her and walked back, and Lasix really hasn't helped this one. And I just I don't know, you can't use that one. And then the 4 always clunks up to get second against her, but I mean this horse is terrible any other time. Those numbers of 1s and 2s. I mean, this horse is getting nothing in those races. I just do not understand that whatsoever. So, I mean, if 6 makes a break, she could maybe lose, but I just don't see any other way she gets beat. I mean, there's, the only horse you can maybe use in a race is the 5.
And she can't get close.
So, I don't know. I mean, she's 1 to 5 again.
Yeah.
And she'll probably win easy again.
Yeah, supposed to. If you want to price play, if you're playing exotics, actually, the price play in this race is a 3 Scarlet Ruby. She's better than what she's been showing. I think there's been some underlying issues that we don't really hear about, but she's got some talent to her. And she's just kind of a late bloomer, her 3-year-old season. So watch for her to show a little bit better mile tomorrow.
Yeah, the 1's won 2 out of its last 3. I mean, there's nothing,
Yeah.
And then win it to Meadows, straight hours of 1 and 55 and 2. That's a good race. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, where did I see Rick's not there tomorrow, but regardless.
He was in earlier.
Oh no, he's driving the 6. That's right. No, I saw he was training this horse last time, first start up there, and now different connections goes to the Marco Rios barn. So no, I just don't see it's Pacific time getting beat. She could make a break and still beat this field. So I mean, she's just that much faster than these right now. It's tough, but regardless of that, we went through a pick 4 at the Meadowlands. We went through a pick 4 at Running Aces. We talked about the big stake races tomorrow at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Quickly, we got to thank our sponsors and make an announcement. We are going to be doing a live show at the Breeders' Crown this year. We just got that figured out today, actually. So we will be at Hoosier Park for both nights of the Breeders' Crown, doing a half COVID version most likely. Trying to figure out how we're going to do that, but we will get it done. And we're going to bring a bunch, and I mean a bunch of cameras to get all kinds of different angles. So definitely looking forward to that show for sure. And got to thank our sponsors for NahooPicks.com and North American Harness Update. COSA, the Central Ontario Standardbred Association, they've been gracious in sponsoring us. Hoosier Park, or Harris Hoosier Park, one of our newest sponsors. Definitely have to thank them. Running Aces, the Meadowlands, Rosecroft, who's opening back up here in a couple weeks, about 3 weeks, I think. Bow River Jewelry, Rapid Printing, who made this tight-ass hoodie and this hat, by the way.